Hi, it's Friday, the 10th of January, and we're here to look at some astrology. And normally I'd be doing daily astrology, but at this time of the year, of course, everybody's interested in the year ahead. Some of the years recently have been fairly demanding, and so therefore it's been interesting to just get a heads up before it all starts. Anyway, I sent out a newsletter at the beginning of this week, and I covered a few things there briefly. And then the video that I recorded on series, which was posted on Wednesday, that continues the theme. And then today I'm covering a bit more. It's not actually possible to do a video of the whole year, day by day, month by month, because there is so much happening that the video would just take too long. And so what I'm thinking is you should subscribe and you should watch the videos as we go through the year, especially around springtime, to keep up with stuff because it's very complex and quite tedious on a day-to-day basis. But it's the best way for you to ride the it's like you're sitting on the head of a tsunami, right? And you're just sitting there on your piece of wood and you're rolling along, and it's a pleasant tsunami. It's a nice one. It's a rolling wave of change. And so you're sat there just looking at all the countryside going by. So it's at that point that you want the briefings, not now, because then you'll never remember it. So I'm just going to do a general overview now. So when I sent out the newsletter, I was um, talking about really when did we last have a period like the one ahead, where all the outer planets change signs in a 12-month period. It's not strictly from 1st of January to the 31st of December, but it's within a year of each other. And actually, that did happen in 1955 when I was born, and 1956. So, and here I am. So we lived it. And the I was born as a part of a generation called baby boomers. Baby boomers too. That's us. Apparently in America you call them Generation Jones. But anyway, a fairly kind of strident and interesting group. And this group grew up with the space program. Literally, it started as they were born, and they grew up with it, including, of course, the moon landing, etc. So, um, I think there's the thing to start with. We are headed into space, and I see that so clearly, and I'm just sad I won't be around to be there when it all happens. But anyway, that's where we're headed, I think, because it's at times like this when the change is too great for the Earth and the population on the Earth to contain that much change. It's about bursting out of something because, after all, this Earth is just one grain of sand on a whole massive beach of sand when it comes to the solar system and what's out there. So this amount of change is talking about much bigger stuff than just staying here. Anyway, it's exciting for individuals as well, but there has to be a real kind of there is a far goal here. Anyway, so yeah, we're talking about the group of people who, have experienced this before and have a blueprint which they've been working with all their lives. And the next thing that we're looking at really is actually serious, and that's all in the video that I recorded and posted on Wednesday. So get to grips with that. Right. Now what I want to do is share the astrological chart. Let me just that I'm going to start with, and I've got it on a dynamic, so I can move it around. Okay. Now I'm starting on the 29th of March 2025. And I guess I'm starting there because that's Neptune's move into Aries. Now, what we've got to remember is Aries, 0 degrees Aries, is all the point of the equinox. It's the equinoctial point, and it starts the whole zodiac belt. So we begin at 0 degrees Aries and we go all the way through to 29 degrees of Pisces. Okay. Now, on the 29th of March, Neptune here is at the 29th degree of Pisces. I just love that for a coincidence. It's amazing. And the next day, what you see there is that Neptune has jumped through, but Mercury, which is going the other way, has gone into Pisces. I'm going to change that back a day so you can see that. So here's Mercury at 0 degrees Aries going retrograde, and here's Neptune at 29 degrees going forward. So I just move it forward a day, and all that has happened. Okay. Now, we've got a massive collection of planets, and this is unmissable. You can't really ignore this. Even if you don't know astrology, it's perfectly simple to look at the rest of the sky, the 360 degrees around our planet, and see that, well, there's not a lot there, but look, everything's here. This is also the day, the 29th of March, of the new moon in Aries. The sun and the moon are side by side in Aries. So look at, therefore, the symbolism for newness, right? To get the new moon in Aries, which only happens once a year, granted around this time, and to get Neptune, which takes years to go through a sign, hasn't changed its sign for ages. I can't remember when. I can find out if you want to know. Anyway, so for that to happen on the same day or the same, it's within hours anyway, is quite remarkable. Venus is there at the same degree from our perspective. But the interesting one for me is these two planets here. So we've got Saturn at 24 degrees of Pisces and Ceres at 12:38, so 12:58, so it's 13 degrees. And what happens then is this one in particular, but these two power forward. I say power forward, this is the slow car crash. I'll tell you what, I'm going to move it forward and you'll see what's going to happen, because Ceres is going to come and get to this point at the same time as Saturn. Now, for Ceres to be here for me is quite interesting. It's a remnant of a protoplanet, perhaps, that was in the area of the asteroid belt at the time the solar system was being formed. She is an emanation or a symbol of the great feminine. Do watch the video that I recorded on Wednesday. She is, well, anyway, let's just move it forward and then you'll see. So I'm going forward in days here, but I have to go through to May. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it quickly. It'll drive you crazy, but there we go. Just a bit more. And here they come. Right, so I've got to the 11th of May, and Ceres is standing with Saturn. Neptune at this point is still at 01 of Aries, right? So Ceres has done some considerable traveling to get here, to be here when these two meet each other. And that is an incredible symbol, because what it says is there is something of a protection in here. Ceres is a protectress. However, it also describes moments where there is separation of a parent or child, and that parent or child can literally be the heavenly mother and the population of human beings. You can take it back to primordial thoughts on spiritual. Okay, so I'm just going to go forward slowly now. So it's this that we're looking at. And just before Saturn is going to go through, look at this, on the 14th of May, she gets in between them. And then she goes through and is standing next to Neptune and is, for me, orchestrating this whole thing, holding up her torch, the flaming torches that the psychopomps used to use to guide the souls into the underworld. There is something of a liminal space here, in as much as this is a break in plane. Right, I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment so I can start describing things. This is 0 degrees Aries is a break in plane. So a plane is so can I describe a plane quickly? Look it up. It's a break in the pattern of something, the spread of something. Everything's normal, and then there's a break or a shift, almost like a dimensional shift. All the planets orbit on a plane. It's a flat thing, and everything works on this plane. We have different planes in terms of hierarchies. The underworld, the overworld, the heavens, are all in planes. Anyway, so it's a break in plane, 0 degrees Aries. There is a shift from one thing to another. And it's a space which is incredibly spiritual, has a lot of spiritual mythology and gnosis wrapped around it and with it. So, for that to happen right at that last minute, for her to step in, hold the space of 0 degrees Aries with those two planets either side of her. Now, the two planets themselves are feminine in terms of polarity, they are feminine, but Aries is a masculine zodiac sign. And Aries has the fire to literally light the fire under a space rocket and send it hurtling into space, if you like. That the fire of Aries at that point is, it's atomic in power, it's nuclear, it's incredibly, it's filled with everything to do with giving birth, the impetus, the pulsing, the complete takeover of energy, just waiting to blast. I'm probably not doing, I'm probably stumbling over words and not doing this much justice, but anyway, hopefully you can see what I'm saying. So what we've got there is femininity in the guise of 3 planets, and particularly with Ceres there, she's really important. The 3 planets hitting the wall of fire, the fire energy, the fire element, and passing through it. It's as if the feminine is being reborn or restyled or readapted to start again, to begin the journey of the zodiac belt, to take on the new beginning of Aries. I hope I did that justice. I've gone all prickly. So you know, when all the hairs stand up on your arms and you think, I know that I've got this right, I know it. Okay, right. Now I'm just going to go back to that chart. I don't need to share it with you, just because I want to look at some other indicators in the chart. When you've got a chart like this, it is talking massively and explaining something of considerable spiritual importance because of the amount. It's a tsunami of change. It's a paradigm shift. It's whatever you want to call it in terms of huge numbers. The chart for that, the horoscope, will also talk of other things. It will give clues as to what's around it. It's a horoscope. It's like a birth chart. This is the birth of something. Here's the birth chart. So I'm just looking at the birth chart now just to see what else is going on there. And the first thing that I do see is the sun is conjunct Uranus, the planet of revolution, uproot, uproar, breakdown, breakthrough, and very much implicated in events this year because Uranus itself is going to change sign soon after that. Uranus's point is at 27 degrees of Taurus. I'm just looking to see, one second, if I've got a note on when that actually happens. I thought I wrote it down, but I'll put it in the box below. So simple, all I want to say, suffice it to say, is that we got some symbolism there of the sun and the revolutionary planet of Uranus. So it adds really to the power of this particular chart, which is the 17th of May. Now, I could, I'll be honest with you, keep throwing at you dates and getting all this dead complicated, and you'll forget it and it's not important. What I did want to do was give you the impression so that you can see how powerful these things are lined up, how powerful the cosmos is in its intention of showing us through astrology what it intends to happen, how it intends to change energy, how the atmosphere and everything around us will be changed in a way that is so powerful. Children born this year will carry a karma, the same as the year I was born, we carried a karma that broke free of everything that went before. When I was born, and my cohorts were born, there was rationing had only just finished the year before. We changed as we grew up. We changed so many things in just society, with our music, with our miniskirts, with space and our love for things, to do with that. We, as I said, we grew up the space race and we've got all the cartoons, Stingray and Fireball XL5, this kind of thing. We were born into a whole population that was under the horrible pall of the Great War, which, really only finished the decade before. And there was the death and the stench of the most awful evil acts was still around the earth at the time, still hanging around the earth. And really, it was my generation, not just me personally, but if you ask my mother, she'll tell you, oh, I was a terrible child. I was breaking some stuff, I'll tell you. But anyway, so my generation had to break that and shed that the awful depression because of the terrible things that happened during the war. This year, similar thing is going to happen, and babies born this year are imprinted with all this in their birth charts. They will go forward, and in 70 years, they will be able to look back on a lifetime of the same kind of change that I look back on when I consider that things like televisions, freezers, cling film, something as simple as cling film, all these things happened in my lifetime and changed everything about the way we live. You've just got to look at technology. Oh my goodness, can I keep up? Barely. But I can use a mobile phone still. I've even got a smartphone, so there we go. got a computer. I'm talking to you now. Anyway, right. So I wanted just to share that with you. I probably haven't done it justice because I'm looking at something of such enormity. I can't get my words out. I'm just like, I can't say it big enough. I think I'm going to have to start writing a few essays because this needs to get recorded in a way that everybody can read. I'll have to start putting it down in writing. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to my ramblings. And I hope I gave you some kind of decent impression. And let me know in the comment box if there's anything that you think I missed out or I should add. Please ask your questions, etc. Because when people do, it's great to be able to answer them. It's something I hadn't thought of, etc. So, I shall see you on Monday. And I'm looking forward to that, and I'll gather my thoughts. And then we'll get back to the astrology of now and just leave these videos for us to keep going back to and comparing and seeing how things are matching up. And then I'll be adding with videos at 3 times a week anyway. So, oh, it's been lovely. I've so enjoyed our little chat here over a coffee, looking at a bit of astrology. It's been lovely. Thank you so much for being here, and please come again because I'll miss you. Okay, bye.